Derek and Sally Tungmola, you guys have to celebrate this moment with me because Derek has never been live.
It's my first live.
He's literally never even on Facebook. He doesn't have a Facebook page. So
I don't like the camera.
So I'm really proud of him for doing this. All right, so we are the owners of Auto Rehab. It's called Auto Rehab 2 now. There's a story behind that, but we're not going to go into it today. And we've owned it for 8 years, and we've been married for 11 as of yesterday. Does it feel like 11 years?
Not really.
Aww, my husband's so sweet. Hi, Anita. As you guys jump on, we're going to say hi. All right, so we've been married 11 years, and we just kind of wanted to give you guys a brief description of who we are. We normally put these videos out on YouTube. They're pre-recorded, and we realized we were kind of taking out the personality. You guys weren't really getting to know us very well. So with lives every single week now that we'll be posting on YouTube, you get a little bit more of us and you get to know us better. And that's what the foundation is of our business, Auto Rehab. So some people have asked, Auto Rehab, how did you guys come up with that name? Well, my cute husband, he's like smiling about this because it has a lot to do with him. Okay, so when we were thinking about creating an automotive shop, we wanted the name to really signify who we are. And so in Derek's past, he was, he had drug addiction. There was drug addiction in his past. And so thankfully, because he's overcome it, he has been sober for 12 years now, which is huge. And so we decided when we were thinking about the name of the business, what better name to call it than, hello, we bring in automobiles. They need rehabilitation. We've had rehabilitation in our lives, like in Derek's past, but also in our marriage. And so why not allow the name of our business to reflect us? So that's where the name Auto Rehab came. So there's a lot of things that are different about how we run our business and who we are. So Derek, what is something that is different?
Well, some of the things that I learned that have become core fundamentals, especially coming out of addiction, out of these things. I was young and dumb, doing stupid stuff, but you learn to value character, integrity, honesty, relationship with people become valued. There's a lot of things that came from that, and those are core fundamentals that our business is built on. So in opening a shop up, we have a deep love for cars. We love cars. It's just something that drives me about them. In regards to repairing and helping people, that's a big thing also. Being able to have people trust that they're not worried about being taken advantage of, that they can trust the word that's spoken to them of what needs to be repaired or what doesn't need to be repaired or how much time you have. And so these things have been principles that have built our business. And it all started underlying, though, with a deep passion for cars. So we love a lot of the car culture, people who love to personalize their cars. There's modifications you do that you identify with that you love. Everyone has a vehicle that was one of their first loves, that they love the way, whether it was VTEC engaged or the way it had torque or whatever it was. And the first time you modify it, the first time you put different wheels and tires on it, the way it looks, the way it feels. And those things are things that we like to experience with our customers. So many of our customers are looking to get lowering springs put on their car for the first time and have their car lowered, and they want the wheels to look right. And there's things they might not know about it, that they're just interested in personalizing the car for themselves. And so that's something that we love to do. Our business is the auto repair side. We do both. And a lot of my project vehicles, so many vehicles that I've gotten, I typically get in pretty poor conditions. Something about me is attracted to a car that needs a lot of work. And my first Supra was a wreck. Literally, I bought a wreck and restored it. I got to choose the color. I got to choose what suspension and brakes and wheels. And that building process is something that a lot of people don't understand. Why would you do this? Why would you go through this much headache for? And yet, all of us within this car culture love it. It's like a love-hate relationship because there's moments that frustrate you so bad. But we do love it. And those are the kind of things that drive us. It's like the underlying thing. You have to have that deep of a passion for automobiles to stay in this industry and make the monotonous part of the repair side worth it. So these things are pretty important to us. Today we were going to give a small update on the Supra as well. I know we haven't done an update for a little while, and I recently sold one of my other vehicles so we could purchase some parts to finish off the Supra. And so we're going to give a small little, just kind of show you some product that is kind of neat that we were excited about. A lot of this product we bought through K&A Racing, and they're one of our new suppliers for parts, and they've done an excellent job.
For performance parts.
Yeah, strictly performance parts. This is going towards the passion side versus the repair side.
Hey Rachel. Hi Jane. Hi Chastity. Okay, so we have a question I think you can answer pretty quickly on here. So normally we're going to wait to answer questions till the end. But Anita is asking, did you get formal training in auto repair?
So yeah, growing up, going through high school, I actually went to the Davis Applied Technology Center. And then as I graduated and went to college, I went to Weber State University, I went through the Honda Automotive program. And cars are just, honestly, when I got into it, it wasn't because I wanted to become a mechanic. I just happened to like working on cars, and half of my cars were usually pretty busted, so I needed to know how to fix them. So that's where it started, but it became a huge passion. It became something that, I mean, I almost eat, sleep, and drink it. And it's something that has grown into, there's a feeling of accomplishment when you can figure something out for somebody, repair something, and take care of a problem that they've had. And so that's kind of, at the end of the day, there's a satisfaction, and that's why I love it. So,
and honestly, this industry connects with Derek. I mean, it's like his brain was made by God to really understand automotive. It's like he has gears in his head. Like, probably. He understands every part of it. It's crazy.
All right, so for the small update on the Supra, one of the products we wanted to highlight, this is a fuel pump hanger. I know to some of you this is probably pretty boring, but to me this is a gorgeous piece of equipment. In a car, as you build a lot of horsepower, and our goal is to make some substantial horsepower with the Supra, there's a need for fuel. So in reality, I know in some of the other videos I clarified, how do you make more power? And in the end, it's actually burn more fuel. So the more fuel that is burned, the more power you make. But you can't just dump fuel into your engine and expect it to make more power. You have to have an equal amount of air coming in and be able to hold it within the engine to create the horsepower. So we built a motor for the Supra. It's strong. It's got forged pistons, forged rods. Pretty much just strong internals, and it has a very large turbo that will force a lot of air into it. If you force a lot of air into it, you're going to need a lot of fuel to match, and that's how those two together will build horsepower. To get the power, we reached out to Radium, is a company that makes this fuel pump hanger. It replaces, so in the Supra and in general cars, there's a regular fuel pump hanger assembly in there. And it's literally a cap that has electrical connections, and down in the tank is your fuel pump. The fuel pump stays in the gas tank to stay cool. We have a video about keeping your tank above half if you can, because it will help keep the fuel pump submerged, and that's how it keeps itself cool. That's how it lasts longer. So anytime you go down past a half a tank or go down into the lower quarter, the pump is exposed, and the heat that the motor makes wears itself out. So that's actually a good cue to, try not to drive till you see the fuel light. But on our Supra, we have typically a performance upgrade is by a more powerful fuel pump. Most factory fuel pumps do 150 liters per hour, and you can upgrade to a 255 liter per hour, or a 320 liter per hour, or a 450 liter per hour. And they go on from there. This fuel pump hanger is designed to utilize 2 or even a third 450 liter per hour fuel pumps. the way that it holds it, the machining that's involved in this, the way that the electrical connections are made, is just a very beautiful piece. I realize I'm admiring a fuel pump, which is really weird. But this is how we're going to supply fuel and get it out of the tank up to the engine. The other part about it, we're going to be running very large fuel line from the back to the front in order to get it up to the fuel rip. The factory fuel line is about 5/16 of an inch, a very small diameter, and you can have 2 or 3 pumps in the back, but it won't push through that small of a hole. And so that's why we have to replace fuel line to a much larger size, get enough fuel up there to the engine. We also have larger fuel injectors, larger fuel rail, bigger fuel pressure regulator. But for the Supra, we chose an engine management system. So the computer, the brain of your car, and we went with a company called Link. And it's a company that the dyno tuner that we're using is familiar with. And so when you're planning to build a car, one of the questions a lot of people are like, well, what engine management should I buy? There's a lot. There's AEM, there's Motec, there's Link, there's literally hundreds of engine management systems. The key is to find what tuner you're going to use, whoever the dyno tuner, and find out what they're familiar with, because that's important. The tuner we chose is UMS, and they have good experience with the Link ECU system, and so that's what we purchased. There's a lot of additional things when you buy an engine management. Flex fuel sensor, which we're using. We can buy a flex fuel sensor and mount it in the system, so I can run different kinds of gas, and the computer knows what kind of gas you're running. It can determine alcohol content and certain things like that. But these things are what we're doing in preparation to get this motor dropped in, hopefully maybe next weekend if all goes as planned. We have the motor and transmission assembly ready to go. The car's been sitting waiting for it, and I will finally possibly have some time next weekend that I can work on my own car. In the automotive repair industry, getting time for my own car is definitely a challenge. This business does require a lot of our time and a lot of our effort, but we are getting excited. The weather's getting better, and it's time to finish it.
Yeah, for sure. So that is really exciting. If you want more updates, or if you guys even have questions about cars in general, whether it's what kind of brand to stick with, what brands to stay away from, if you want to know why your car is doing certain things, like, that kind of stuff, you guys can always email us at autorehabflagstaff@gmail.com. We also have a website that is www.auto-rehab.com. I will put both of those in the comments below. And we would love for you guys to follow us on here, add me as a friend, and then also follow us on Instagram. I think you can find us at Auto Rehab Flagstaff. So if you guys like that video, go ahead and push like, share this with all of your friends. We love to get out more to the car community, especially because there's so many videos that we have done and that we're going to continue doing that will inform you of what you need to know whenever you work into it, or when you walk into an automotive shop. That's something really important. I know today we talked about performance and we talked about the fun side of automotive, but there's a repair side also that we do on a daily basis, and we want to make sure that as many people as possible are informed about what they need to know when they walk into an automotive shop. And thanks to social media, we can do that literally all across the US, and it's amazing. So thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys watching, and we will see you next week.
Yep.
Bye.